Hi there, my name's Scott McDonald, and today I'm going to teach you how to do an inward vampire on Trampwall. Before learning these, you should be comfortable with regular vampires, cradle reverts, and these. As always, I recommend wearing wrestling shoes to protect your feet. An inward vampire starts by running the wall, doing a half turn, then diving to your back. From here, you do an inward 3/4 front flip that catches in a hand plant against the face of the wall, then resume wall running to complete the trick. As with cradle reverts and corner dives, there are 3 possible takeoff positions for this trick. You can land with both feet down against the bed, which tends to give you the most inherent backward travel at the expense of some potential height. Both feet up, which gives you the most potential height, but at the expense of the inherent backward travel. Or 1 up, 1 down, which is a nice happy medium between the two. If you do either 1 up, 1 down, or both feet up, you're going to use your raised leg or legs to direct yourself back towards the wall, but also rely on having the springs very close to your butt to push you backwards. That said, I'll be demonstrating mostly using both feet down, since at the time of making this video almost everyone uses that method, but I encourage you to experiment with all 3 and see which one works best for you. To do an inward vampire, start by running at head height or higher. When you're ready to go, do a half turn on the face and dive forward onto your back. Aim to land with your torso in the box and your feet closer to the springs. This will send you aggressively back to the wall as soon as you get airborne. Whichever method you use, as soon as you leave the bed, start lifting your hips behind you and pulling your chest down to initiate the flip rotation. Keep your legs tucked until you make contact so your feet don't catch the wall. Extend into whatever shape you want as you catch with your hands, and once gravity takes over, just do a half twist to your back and resume wall running to complete the trick. In terms of visual reference points, as I run the wall, I spot where I'm going to place my feet for the half turn, and as I pivot, I shift my gaze to the bed and keep watching it until I duck over to my back. As I leave the bed, I don't really see anything, but as soon as I start getting inverted, I spot the trampoline again and keep watching it throughout the hand plant and as long as I can as I fall. When I can't see it anymore, I turn and revert to regular wall running visuals to complete the trick. Now that you understand how inward vampires work, let's break them down into a few simple drills. We'll start by getting familiar with all 3 takeoff positions. Start by laying on your back with your arms bent, your hips at a slightly obtuse angle, your knees bent, and your feet planted against the trampoline. This is the position you land in doing the both feet down method. If you raise one leg with your foot roughly above your chest, that'll be the position for 1 up, 1 down, and if you raise the other leg next to it, that'll be the both feet up position. When doing both feet down or 1 up, 1 down, try to land with your torso and your feet as simultaneously as possible. In reality, there will be a slight delay before the feet come down, and this tiny offset in timing will put you into a bit of a front kaboom that rotates you to your feet and carries you backward. This timing is very important because, as you can see, if you treat it like a regular back kaboom, or you just look excessively down your body, it's going to cancel out both your rotation and your travel. Done correctly, you'll just land, direct the rebound, and float effortlessly back to the other side of the bed. When you can consistently do that, add another quarter flip by skipping your feet and landing on your stomach. Once that's comfortable, add another half flip and duck it over to your back. With this one, try to watch the trampoline as you go and imagine the moment when you would reach for the wall. Now, conveniently enough, my friend Salmon decided to learn inward vampires today, so he'll be demonstrating the rest of the drills. For all of these ones, I highly recommend having a friend hold a mat against the wall for the sake of safety. Start by running the wall, do a half turn and dive, and then rebound to plant both feet against the face. When you can consistently get a solid anchor, plant your feet as usual, but then dive forward to your back again. When this feels okay, try to touch the wall beneath yourself. At first, you might just tap it with one hand, but the goal is to get both hands underneath yourself and take some of your weight. Now, as a general concept, I like to think of inward vampires as being a balancing act between 3 variables: distance, height, and flip speed. Now that you're at the point where you can catch with some of your weight in your hands, you've already got distance and height, but now you need to add a little more flip speed and stay tucked for longer so your feet will completely clear the wall. When that happens, you'll get your first real catch, but it'll probably have a little extra power and wind up tipping over instead of returning to a wall run. When this happens, all you need to do is use slightly less power, control your catch, and drop back in. Now, if you have been using a mat, all you need to do is remove it and repeat the same motion. Just remember that you do need to travel slightly further inward since the mat is closer to the trampoline than the wall itself. When you can catch and drop back in with no mat, enjoy your shiny new inward vampire. Let's take a look at a few common inward vampire mistakes and how to either fix them or just avoid them outright. First and foremost, this trick doesn't work unless you're fully committed from the start, but if you do change your mind, put your feet out and catch the wall to stay safe. Even if you find yourself floating in the abyss, having any form of anchor will make it much easier to control your bail. On the other end of the spectrum, if you commit so hard that you rush the takeoff, you won't be able to generate any flip rotation. Ironically, the harder you try, the less it tends to work, especially if you kaboom your feet or look down your body. If this happens, I again recommend staying safe by anchoring your feet on the wall behind you or doing a cradle revert. If you're getting your hands on the wall, but you don't get very much weight in them, you're probably catching slightly late. This tends to happen as a result of flipping too slowly and not sending yourself backward as decisively as necessary. If this happens, I prefer to tip over to seat drop, but you should exit in whichever way feels safest for you. If you get a great takeoff, but you rush the flip, you might lose sight of the trampoline and get lost, which can get very sketchy. Please remember that less is more, and you don't need to throw into this trick super hard. As far as placement issues go, the further out you are, the more the trampoline's going to push you back towards the wall, but this can also lead to getting too much push, or getting your feet caught underneath the spring covers. On the other hand, staying really close can put your head in the springs or just feel claustrophobic, but it can also still work, so I recommend experimenting and finding the placement that feels safest and the most efficient for you. Lastly, when first learning inward vampires, you might find yourself returning into a side drop instead of squaring back up into a wall run. This either means you were swinging your hips and shoulders around the side instead of staying on a vertical axis, or it just might mean that you were focused on the catch and didn't think about what was coming next. Remember to go straight backward, and that the trick isn't over when you catch with your hands, it's over when you resume wall running. On that note, I'm going to wrap things up, but I hope this video gave you everything you need to learn inward vampires. I want to say a massive thank you to Salmon for demonstrating the drills. I've left links to his social media in the description below, so please check it out if you enjoy crazy flips. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in coaching or workshops, you can always message me on Instagram at Scott A. McDonald. And until next time, good luck and happy training.